Guys, welcome, Daniel the Adjuster. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I thought I would go live and show you guys an interesting claim that I came upon, and we'll try to do this as best as possible. So I got a call for a claim, and they said fire just started in the back of the property, said wildfire, that's the cause of loss, and they said their fence got burnt. So I didn't think anything, too much out of the ordinary, thinking maybe a lightning strike from somewhere in behind. And, who knows? You never know what you're going to come. Start wandering around. Let's drive up here. And I did a full video on this. I'm going to edit and show you guys here later. But yeah, so I pull up to the side of the house, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but yeah, look at that. The fence is totally gone. All the grass there and the whole back of the house fence here is all melted and caught on fire. So kind of weird. No damage to the house, but as far as damage to the fence, it's kind of crazy. This is basically a pretty significant heat event for this fire, because it was obviously burning. Knew that it happened, and so it caused a fair bit of damage to the fence. So anyway, so really interesting. You do run into these things sometimes, and you're like, you scratch your head and you go, I wonder where that fire started from. Now, a couple things. You could be a little bit like an investigator, I guess, to some extent, is you could say, well, maybe somebody was driving by and they flicked a cigarette out the window. Cigarette butt. Very possible. People do it all the time. All they do is put in their finger, flick it out the window, and they think, nothing of it, but then they don't realize that that's enough spark to start the grass on fire, especially if you're talking about an area like right now, North Carolina is under a fire restriction because it's super dry and we haven't had a whole lot of rain, so the chances of sparking a fire are super high. Yeah, so could be that. Could be a neighbor smoking. Could be a neighbor doing something. I looked in the neighbor's house. Didn't seem like it originated from there. Looked like it originated kind of like right in the back left corner of the insured's house. Why, I'm sure they didn't do it. There's no barbecue or anything back in that area that would have instigated the fire. So my investigative skills are limited because I don't really know where the fire started from, but it was enough to fry the back third of basically of the vinyl fencing that was on this property. So yeah, so it could be somebody flew by there, threw a butt out on the cigarette butt on the ground. Could be a lightning strike, possibly, but then I don't think they said it happened during the day. Now, we did have some thunderstorms here in the last few days, so it's possible it could have been a lightning strike. There's a cable box, junction box, relatively close to the corner of that lot, and it's right in the middle of the fire. So it could have, lightning could have come down, grabbed that, hit that lightning or hit that junction box and caught it on fire. That's possible. Yeah. Anyway, so we don't really know. We're not here to be fire investigators because that's not our point. I mean, as an adjuster, we're not here as a fire investigator, but we want to find the cause of loss. That's important for us to find because that's how we can dictate coverage or not. If we don't find the cause of loss, then a fire investigator needs to come out and actually tell us where the cause of loss came from. But in this scenario, I don't think it's malicious. I don't think, the insured was using a barbecue or anything. So nothing there gives me any indication that was insured caused. So that's good news. We certainly don't want the insured burning their own stuff down. So, yeah, so our job here is to basically investigate it, figure out what's going on, and then put it in a report and send it in. And hopefully, that's good enough. Now, they may send out an investigator or a fire investigator just to double check everything. That would be smart, because you certainly don't want to leave the cause of loss as an unknown. That wouldn't be wise. So yeah, so we definitely want to do our best to get the cause of loss, figure out what it is, and then put it in your report. Now, if you don't know what it is, there's nothing wrong with also saying cause of loss unknown. And you could say that. You could say, I just don't know the cause of loss. And so you can put that in your report. So here, I'm gonna stop some gas, guys, but you're welcome to stay with me. We're gonna stop and get some gas together, but the life of an adjuster, stopping to get gas. It's a never-ending thing. It seems like I'm filling up gas all the time. So yeah, so how you guys doing? How's everybody doing in the world of adjusting? And here it is, Thursday, guys. Thursday, and we're getting near the end of the week, and we're doing our claims. We had a big storm yesterday, really, really big storm yesterday, and I'm hoping that we can get some storm claims from that. I'm really, really, really hoping that we will get some claims for all the wind damage. We had a bunch of wind. We had a bunch 60-mile-an-hour winds, gusts that we had yesterday, and reports of trees down in certain subdivisions. So that's kind of pretty common with the wind gusts, is to see some trees down. So hopefully that'll bring us some claims. And I say hopefully because that's the purpose of being an adjuster here, is to work these claims and stay busy. There's no point sitting around doing nothing. I mean, it's not good for business. So yeah, Daniel the adjuster here, stopping to get some gas. I'm in Rocky Mount today. I got a little fluff going on my head here. Yeah, so we're in Rocky Mount at the mini mart. So just stopping to get some gas in my Toyota Highlander. This is what I drive, guys. It's a great car. It allows me to fit all my ladders in the back. I don't know if I guys have shown you this, but I'll show you the back. So you want to know what kind of vehicle I'm driving. Well, I got two ladders. I got this little thing I pull down, protects the edge of the car. I got my boots, got my belt, big ladder, small ladder, water bottles. Those are smoke sponges, so if we ever have to wipe a wall for smoke. And then I've got my chalk, gloves, all my cat bucket, which is basically storage for every single thing. I've got this extra block so I can level out my ladder if I need it. There's my 200-foot rope, harness, and everything is inside there as well. So everything fits very nicely into the back of this Toyota Highlander. As you can see, it's very compact. No, I can't carry any kids with me. But it is what it is. Well, I got one seat in the front, so I can carry one person with me in the front, but I certainly can't carry anybody in the back because my back seat is down. So yeah, I had to stop and get some gas. We investigated a fire this morning in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And so now we're just gonna be heading back to the house, about a 45-minute to an hour drive. And I thought I would live stream while we were going. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate. See that noise up? That's the automatic camera that turns on, dash cam, that turns on every time I start and stop the car. So I never have to worry about safety and knowing if anybody around me is driving badly, because I will always be recording everything that I'm driving. Yeah, I recommend them highly. I got this one off the TikTok shop for about 40 bucks. Man, you can't beat that. And I've had it for several months, and it seems to be doing very well and have never had any issues. So yeah, if you get a good camera, it's worth your weight in gold, because you're going to protect yourself from the bad drivers in the world and also record all the potential accidents that happen around you as well. So Thursday morning, it's 9:32. I'll be home, it says, around 10:30, so real close to that time frame about an hour's drive from where I am to get home. Just one claim. Now, yesterday I had brought up that I was talking about this vandalism claim. It won't ever seem to go away. Well, again, it didn't go away last night. I got an email from my billing department. I was trying to bill for this thing, trying to be fair, and I had to write a report and add some photos to the reinspection. So I said, I should be paid for a reinspection fee. I had to drive out to the place, meet the engineer. So I didn't feel like gouging on it. I got 5 claims under the same cause of loss, and so I knew I wasn't going to fully bill for full inspections for every one of them. So I billed $65 for each claim to write the report, partial drive, and turning it in and labeling the photos. So anyway, so they get it back and they go, did you get authorization from the desk adjuster? And I'm like, yeah, I did. But she said, there's no note in the file. And I'm like, she verbally told me that I could charge, and told me that I could charge an inspection fee. And she says, well, we need that in the file. So now I got an email out to her, and these folks are notorious for being very, very slow to get back to us after we send emails. It might be 2 days before I hear back from her. Very, very slow for this carrier. But, she already agreed to an inspection fee, so it's kind of like a moot point at this point. But I just want to get these files closed because I got 5 open claims now for this one cause of loss. Yeah, so just the little bits of annoyances sometimes. The claims won't go away because there's all these little details that won't seem to go away. But once it's closed, we'll get paid and it'll be fine. It's not that big of a deal. So today's claim, just a quick fire claim for a melted fence. And so we'll write up an estimate for that fence. Again, don't know the cause of loss. Could have been lightning. Could have been somebody who threw a cigarette butt. But we don't know. So we can't manipulate or guess at the cause of loss. All we can do is put down a hypothetical in what we think was the cause of loss, but we don't know. So, that's all we can do. Put down what we think and say, no cause of loss as of yet determined, and move on. So, hope you guys are doing well out there today. We had a bunch of storms in here yesterday, 60-mile-an-hour winds. Hoping to get some claims from that. I really am excited around the springtime because hurricane season hasn't yet quite started. Won't be starting for several months, but we've got hail season that typically comes up in the spring. March, here we are in March. First week of March is really the time when the storms start happening and hail season can begin. So big storm yesterday, 60-mile-an-hour winds, gusts. We had trees down. Even had a tornado warning in my area. So it was actually red and telling us to go hide. So so it was a pretty intense storm yesterday. And no, I didn't hide. But I have a really good app that I use. It's called Radar Scope. And you have to pay for it, but it's a really incredible radar for tracking storms. And I can see all the circulation. I can see the multi-level tiered radar, and I have a pretty good idea when I think there's some danger. I can actually see the rotation on that app. It's the most amazing thing. They actually tell you there's rotation, and then you can see it on the map. The radar is so intensely accurate. Anyways, a Radar Scope, if you guys want a really good tool for tracking storms, that's a really good one that I recommend. It's about $100 a year to buy that app. They raised the prices. I think originally it was like $69 or something, and then they went up like $90, I think, maybe something like that. But it's a really valuable tool for when I'm tracking storms, just to be able to tell my family and friends, and also for me to know where hail hit, because it tracks hail as well. I can see where the hail hits during the storm when it happens. So it's really cool. It shows up as purple, and so I know exactly where the hail has hit and what areas. And then it's got a really accurate map system that also tells us exactly where it happened too. So great app, super cool. And that's what I watch religiously for weather in my area, is to see when storms are coming and when hail happens. I want to know where it is, so then I can call up my firms and say, hey, hail happened here yesterday. Also have Stormer Site that comes in email every day, lets me know if there was any type of activity in my state or other states, all across the United States actually, and that's free. And that tells me where there's storms and where stuff happens. So that helps me for when I want to call the firms and say, hey, big storm happened in this area. Let me know if you got any need for help. I'll be more than happy to pop over there. And so that's a great opportunity to find work as well. And yeah, don't hesitate to go over to catadjuster.org, guys. If you're always looking for work, looking for daily claims, looking for new firms that started up, maybe a merger happened where a firm joined another firm, that's a great way to find the new name and, you know, make sure you're up to date on their rosters. Also, make sure you create a profile there. That'll help you find work as well. So yeah, don't hesitate. So what's up with you guys on a Thursday? Beautiful March day. We're at 50 degrees right now. The weather is beautiful. Can't complain. And I'm heading back from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, back to Raleigh. It's about an hour's drive. Did a claim over there for fire on a fence. And we're at a wildfire risk right now. South Carolina, Myrtle Beach area has a lot of uncontrollable wildfires going on right now. Just how I got started, I don't know, but it's super dry. So the risk of fire is super high in this area. So wherever you're listening from, put a 1 in the chat if you are an adjuster, or put a 2 in the chat if you are not an adjuster. I'd love to know your status. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'd love to help you out. If you have any insurance questions, maybe you're a homeowner and you just pop on here and you're interested in learning about insurance, I'd be certainly willing to answer what I know and help you out with any questions that you have as far as insurance as well. If you want to learn something about being an insurance adjuster, this is the place to be. I have a YouTube channel called Daniel the Adjuster, and you can learn how to do this job and get paid very well. It's a very high paying job for those that are diligent to stick at it. I met a guy yesterday, told me he averages between $200,000 and $300,000 a year as an adjuster, which is confirmed for somebody who has been there, done that. And also, depending on how busy you are and how many catastrophes you travel on, that income of $200,000 to $300,000 a year is very doable. I personally don't make that much every year because I primarily was doing daily claims. But if I start to do regular catastrophes, which is hard, you know, sometimes you can't always get the catastrophes every year. So, you know, it doesn't always work out. But it certainly has the potential to be a very lucrative career. Yeah, but this career is really for those that stick at it, who want to put in the effort. It's like any self-employment opportunity. The harder you work at it, the more successful you'll become. And not everyone has that work ethic. So just keep that in mind. If maybe you're not that type of person, maybe you're a procrastinator, maybe you just like working for somebody, that independent adjusting is not going to be a job for you. Independent adjusting is going to be somebody who says, you know, I'm tired of the rat race working for an employer. They never appreciate what I do. I feel like I bust my tail and get paid little as far as appreciation. I don't get very many raises. I'm probably the hardest working guy in my office. My boss is a jerk. I know more than my boss. All those types of questions. Then you might be a good candidate for an independent adjuster, because we don't have direct bosses, meaning I don't have to show up and check in or log in with somebody every day. I don't have to tell them I'm here. I don't have to tell them I'm present and working. No one monitors my hours of what I work and what I do. As long as I get the job done when the assignments come in, that's all they care about. And pretty much the turnaround rate is, hopefully you can get it inspected within 7 days from the time you receive the assignment, and you turn it in the same day you inspect. Those are pretty much the typical expectations of an independent adjuster. And as long as people do that, then there's no reason anyone would be upset with the quality of work that you do. Now, if you turn in garbage and it has to be reviewed like 4 times, then obviously that's not going to work out either. But if you're putting in a good product and you're turning it in the day you inspect it, you're going to make a lot of people happy, and that's all they care about. So heading back from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, the drives are beautiful. I love driving in North Carolina. This is the life of an adjuster is a lot of driving, and you'll see from my videos, this is kind of why I do these live streams, is to explain to you guys the amount of driving that you do is pretty significant. So maybe you're a person who doesn't like to drive, and I get it, but what you want to do is you want to make your car as comfortable as possible. Number one, make sure you're carrying drinks and snacks. Make sure you have a good sound system in your car. If you can upgrade. I put in subwoofers into my car. Make the sound like I'm at a rock concert. My sound systems are top notch in every car I've ever had. And modify the car so that it makes the sound system even better. And that's because I spend a lot of time in the car. And so because I'm here a lot, I want the music to be awesome, and I want the comfort level to be awesome. So GPS is easy to see, phone's easy to get to, got a camera to make sure to take care and keep me safe. Air conditioning always works. Got my water, got my sunglasses, got snacks if I need it. Yeah, comfort level is super important when you have a lot of driving to do. And for the average person, they may say, I like driving 20 miles and that's it. Well, the wonderful thing about adjusting is the more you drive, the more that time seems to fly. And so for me, driving an hour, I don't even think about it anymore, because driving an hour is nothing to me. And even driving 2 hours really doesn't seem that bad anymore. Used to, long time ago, I used to be bothered by it. Like when we would go to the beach and it was 2.5 to 3 hours. I was so exhausted, just like the hardest drive in the world. And now in 2.5 hours, I can do that in a heartbeat. So yeah, so as you drive more, you'll find that your stamina for driving will increase, and so those long drives don't seem as bad. And one of the things I try to do also when I'm driving is listen to motivational speeches, listening to podcasts, stuff like that, where people are talking about things to improve me as a person, improve me as an entrepreneur. So taking these long drives and listening to a great podcast is also a really great opportunity to grow in your character and grow in your knowledge of things in the world. You could even study insurance stuff if you're not really familiar with it. There's tons of podcasts out for insurance studies. Or maybe you're trying to study for your CPCU, which is a certification for insurance, kind of like your 4-year degree of insurance. You could get that, and that would be good for a corporate guy who says, hey, I want to be in corporate insurance. I want to be a CEO one day of a firm or whatever. So that might be a good thing to study while you're on the road. Listen to podcasts or listen to instructional manuals teaching you about your trade. So yeah, always good things to learn and do and put in your time. Or if you want to chill and just listen to music and enjoy the peace and calm before the chaos when you get home and you have to write these estimates or responsibilities at home, it's always good too. So having a nice peaceful drive and looking at scenery, enjoying your time while you're driving is always nice and relaxing as well. So I love it. Adjusting to me is the perfect life for me. It works out. I make good money. I love making my own schedule, and I love taking time off when I want it, and I love working from home. And so if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you check over my YouTube channel at Daniel the Adjuster, and you can learn how to be an adjuster as well. I really try to push, my whole point for the channel was to grow people into learning how to be an adjuster. This isn't just, me trying to make money. I don't make hardly any money on YouTube channel. It's just I don't have that many people following me, and I don't have that much of an audience. So it's not about the money. It's honestly about helping people to get a better life than what they have. The rat race of being an employee, I was never made out to be an employee. My whole life I struggled keeping a job because I hated my bosses and I hated my jobs. And it was because there was no purpose. It was like every day that I would go in and do a job, it was like, okay, perform this task and then repeat yourself, do it again tomorrow. And I was like, no, this is no fun. There's no purpose in that kind of job for me. So being an employee was just something I knew I didn't want to be. And I wanted to be my own boss, and I wanted to answer to me, and I knew that. I knew that from the very beginning. In fact, I've been self-employed now for over 35 years, and I just realized being self-employed was the only way that I could operate me personally. Now, for you, you may be someone who's afraid of being self-employed. You might say, well, how do you find work? What if it doesn't succeed? I get it. Those are all the fears that I had when I first went out. It was probably the scariest time of my life. I was a carpenter when I started my first self-employment job. I left a paying job as a carpenter to go out on my own to find my own work. And I did not have a lot of jobs when I first started, but I just then decided it was time to solicit that work, meaning try to find some work, talk to people, kind of network. Probably within the first year, I was doing very well. You got to remember, you're making more when you're self-employed, so it doesn't take as long to get started. Whereas when you're an employee and making $12 an hour, $15 an hour, it takes forever to get ahead because that's barely meeting your needs. But then all of a sudden, you're making $25 to $50 an hour when you're self-employed, and all of a sudden, it's like, wow, I don't have to work as much, and I make more when I work. And then as years go by, then that's like $60 to $100 an hour. And then, it just starts to get higher and higher. And it's really refreshing to finally feel like you're getting paid for what you're worth for the first time in your life. And that's what self-employment does for you. So yeah, if you want any questions or concerns about how to be self-employed, and this could be for anybody. It doesn't have to be insurance adjusting. It can be any type of self-employment. It's all the same, is that you got to have the motivation to make yourself better and to want a better life for yourself. I mean, think about it. There's 10% of the millionaires. There's probably 20% of the poverty, like broke people, and then everybody else is in the middle. And it's not it. And here's the thing, it's not that the middle has anything really wonderful about it. It's just like everybody's kind of surviving and making their ends meet and, paying their bills, and they got a little bit extra. But that's not the life I wanted to live. I didn't want to live in the middle class. And now I'm still striving to be in the upper class, but I'm probably at the very high end of middle class right now. And that's just because I desire to not be middle class. I wanted to always make the most I could out of my life. And that's, you got to have the desire to do it. You got to sit there and say, hey, this is not the life I want to live. I don't want to be living paycheck to paycheck. I want to make sure I have enough money to do things that I want to do when I want to do them. And I don't want the stress of worrying about when the next paycheck comes in. And unfortunately, 80% of the world lives that way. Maybe even 90% of the world lives that way, where they're worrying about the paycheck that comes in. It's interesting. I heard something a long time ago that said that 90% of the world is only 1 or 2 paychecks from being bankrupt. And I was like, there's no way. That's not true. And interesting is that I've known a lot of really wealthy people in my time that I thought were wealthy, and all it was they had a good job and they could afford, you know, $1 million house, and the landscaper and the maintenance person and the nanny and you know, whatever. But it was interesting is that when you ask them how much of the house they have paid off, it's barely any. They're just making good money so they can afford all the toys, you know, all the things. But you know, they're still leasing the boat, they're leasing the lawnmower, they're leasing their cars, they're basically paying all their bills from every paycheck to all the people that they have in their lives, whether it's lawn care or nannies or dog groomers or whatever it happens to be. But again, 2 paychecks gone from their life and they're broke. They're no different than everyone. And so it's the wealthy people, truly wealthy people, which normally is only about the 10 to 20 percentile in the world, are people that could be months, if not years, without paychecks and still be fine financially. And that's what I'm striving to do. I'm not there yet, but I would certainly love to the point where I could take 6 months off or a year off and be just fine. To me, that's wealthy. That's somebody who is wealthy. And it's not that you would deplete your whole savings, it's just that you didn't really depend or need that paycheck to come in for 6 months, and you could still go on with your life, not really affect your savings. Maybe you have residual income, passive income that's coming in that's going to fund you for that time that you're off for 6 months, vacationing or whatever you're doing. So that's the type of life that I'm looking for, and hopefully one day I will achieve that. Not there yet, still have lots to do, but it would be nice. It's something nice to strive towards, because if you don't have a goal, then you're never going to get there. Never going to get to a goal that you don't pursue. So let me know in the comments where you guys are listening from. You can just put a chat in there. Tell me what state you're calling from or where you're logged in from. And I'm in North Carolina, in Raleigh. It's a beautiful place. Weather seems to always be nice here. This is why I love North Carolina. Is the weather is primarily why I love being here. Beautiful sky, blue skies most of the time, if not big fluffy white clouds. But the sun seems to be out all the time. It's just beautiful. The weather is very moderate. And yeah, we get hot in the summer, but only for a short period of time, and then it's back beautiful again. And then winters are not very cold. They're not rugged cold. We rarely get snow, even though we had snow this year for the first time in probably 5 years. So we had snow this year, but it was gone in 3 days. So that's the snow in North Carolina here in the Raleigh area. Very little. Listening from what state? And if you're an adjuster, put a 1 in the chat. If you're not an adjuster, put a 2 in the chat. I'd love to just see who's listening to the live. This is a Thursday. I was out driving to Rocky Mount today to look at a fire that happened on a vinyl fence. And I'm going to post a video hopefully in the next few days. You'll be able to see the damage. But it was kind of freaky, just kind of out of the blue. I think some lightning hit possibly. Maybe somebody threw out a cigarette butt on the grass in the subdivision and caught the grass on fire. Hard to know, but it does seem something like that likely. It doesn't look like the insured was involved in any of that fire at all. But yeah, so we're driving about an hour from the house, and this time flies by. Anytime that I drive, normally the time is not very long. It seems to go very fast and very cool. All right, thanks for joining me. It says Sage? Very cool. Thanks for joining me, Sage. I appreciate it. Yeah, so what state are you calling from, and are you interested in an adjuster, being an adjuster, or just curious, like, what in the world is an adjuster? So that would be good to know. I can direct my conversation to you in that regard to let you know what's going on. Or you're just curious and going, what's this guy driving in the road? Colorado, very cool. Colorado's got some great hail. They're the first state that gets hail in hail season. So I wouldn't be surprised if you've already had some hail damage in Colorado already. And the reason being is that, you know, you get snow all the way until like April. But Texas, which is below, oh, good, driving and listening, very cool. Yeah, so Colorado's in a perfect spot because Texas, by March, April, is already at 80-something degrees. And so then you've got the cold that's in California or Colorado that's still freezing in the April, still got snow on the ground. Even might even get a snowstorm in April. And so the clash of cold and hot there is why Colorado ends up having the first hail of the season. Yeah, lots of hail. Yeah, I'm so envious. I think I want to move to Colorado because it's the perfect storm. The clash of cold and hot hitting these two areas together. It's always. I lived in Texas for 5.5 years, and man, we're buying Christmas trees, you know, in our shorts, and it was already hot by March. I mean, it was crazy. It's just crazy. So yeah, great. Well, Colorado. I have actually never been to Colorado, but I've been like to Dallas and Abilene and Texas and stuff like that, and Oklahoma. Never been to Colorado, so I'll have to go out there and see it one day. Maybe I'll get a hailstorm out there and I can go see you. I'm looking forward to seeing every state in the entire United States one day from some sort of storm-related event. It's a good excuse to get out there and go see these places because they're really cool. But yeah, hail is our bread and butter as far as where we can find the most work as an adjuster, because a storm date is something that gets set in time, and we can still see claims up to a year from that storm date and still be attributed to full coverage. Some of the carriers are getting a little whiffy-waffy about that as far as saying, hey, it's old damage, or, you know, why did you not report it? But here's the cool part. If you're an insured, all you got to do is say, hey, a roofer was in my neighborhood. This is the first time I knew we had hail damage. I don't get on my roof and know if I have hail damage, so the roofer may be aware of it. So then they'll make the, basically the discovery date is the cause of loss, even though there is a storm date in the past. So you can add to them, you know, discovery date would be the day they open the claim, but they don't lock you into the fact that did hail happen on that day. They just want to know when the cause of loss was. And then as a good adjuster, you're going to go back into history and you're going to find the storm date for the insured. And then when you're writing your report, you're going to say, hey, this storm date happened 6 months prior in this area because hail did happen area on that date. And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get coverage for that insured, even though it might be 6 months from the time that the event occurred. So yeah, storm dates are killer. You get a good hailstorm in the area, it's a big widespread event, and you got work for definitely a very strong year for that one storm, because you can keep going back to that storm date as the origination point. It's killer. But yeah, but in my scenario, if I don't get a hailstorm, then if a bunch of people open up claims and say, yeah, there was hail, but it was 2 years ago in that location, then they're at risk for being paid ACV, which is basically taking the depreciation off of their payment and not giving them that money back. So if they got a 15-year-old roof, they lose 15 years of value of that roof for that claim. And that kind of sucks, because you can't replace the roof when you lose 15% of value, or 15 years of value, which ends up being potentially 75% of the value of the claim. You know, lost 75% of value out of that 20-year shingle. Yeah, it kind of sucks. So I always try to tell people, you know, it'd be nice, you know, especially the roofers. I talk to them about this. I say, please try to find the closest date of loss that you can for hail in this area. Now, it doesn't happen in every single area, obviously. So, but I'm telling them, I say, hey, do your research, find the subdivisions that had the hail damage, which, you know, they have hail tracking software now. And so if you are smart as a roofer, you've already got that software. You're working on the subdivisions that have had hail in that area. And then when you go to solicit the people in that subdivision, you already have a data loss, you already have a report that proves the hail was in that area, and you can start selling that to every owner on that street and say, I do free inspections. Here's a report that proves that there was hail in your subdivision. I just wanted to let you know that we can do a free inspection for you and see if we can help you out get an insurance claim where you get a free roof. Or not really free, but free roof as in a new roof with deductible only expense. And it's really cool because a lot of people are pretty excited about that if they look and they go, hey, yeah, my roof's normally like $10,000 or $12,000 and I can get a new roof for $1,000. Oh yeah. And then they're thrilled to have you come here and do your inspection for you. So, the wonderful world of driving. Now we have traffic. We are coming up to, I don't know, it doesn't look far. It's like I can see maybe a construction site or something. Maybe they're closing one lane. But anyways, yeah, the wonderful world of traffic. Sometimes you get that. North Carolina is not too bad for traffic. We ended up, I think in general, if you stay out of the major cities and you try to travel the opposite direction of the flow of traffic, meaning, hey, if everybody's coming into town for to work, then your first claim should be driving out of town. That's what your first claim should be in the first thing in the morning. So then that's like what I did. I drove out of town to Rocky Mount today and hit absolutely no traffic because everybody was going the other way around. Well, here we are at 10 o'clock. I don't think people are coming into town at this point, but I think it's, oh yeah, it says road work 4 miles ahead, left lane closed. All right, so your advice, if the lane is closed, stay in the left lane. That's half a mile to merge. No, I'm not the guy who waits till the last 4 cars to merge. No. Those guys drive you nuts. No, but within the last half a mile, I'll then merge over and no big deal. But see, like now, all the cars on the right are practically stopped and I'm driving on the left. So the little sign freaked out everybody and said everybody started moving over. Oh, left lane's closed, I better get over. That's 4 miles ahead yet. Why not beat the traffic nightmares? I don't know, sometimes, because if you live in Atlanta or California or whatever, you're not going to beat the traffic, or DC or New York or whatever. There's traffic everywhere. You're not beating the traffic. So it just depends on where you are. But overall, I think you can time the traffic a little bit and help yourself beat the traffic a little bit. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'd love to hear if you guys have any questions. Day in the life of the adjuster is sometimes we sit in traffic, and that's just part of life. But hey, when you are doing a lot of traveling, I was telling you guys earlier, it's always good to do something to enrich your better. You can listen to podcasts, listen to motivational speeches. You can learn about insurance policy if you wanted to. You could watch other YouTubers that have good content as far as adjusting to learn how to improve your skills as an adjuster, or as an entrepreneur. You know, learning how to run your business as an independent adjuster is super important, whether it's tax advice, whether it's organization skills, learning how to keep track of your business expenses or your mileage on your vehicles, tools for that. Yeah, there's all sorts of ways that you can get better. I could be better, and so I always try to study new ways to be optimized, to do things better and easier, so that we're making money, not wasting money. I'm a huge proponent of not wasting money. I don't like wasting money at all. I'm a frugal guy. I'll wear clothes until they wear out. rather than just saying, oh, I've got to look my best all the time. No, I got a hole in my pants and I keep wearing them. So I might sew them up a little bit or whatever, but I look at it like, hey, it's a perfectly good pair of pants. It costs money to buy new ones. They're just going to get holes in them too. So might as well wear out the ones until I'm embarrassed. So, so probably you'll see me, if you do my videos or watch my videos regularly, you'll see that I wear a lot of the same clothes. And it's because I'm literally wearing these clothes out before I get rid of them. I'm not a person that's going to waste money to buy brand new clothes so I can look great, so that I can go get all sweaty on a roof and ruin the shirt within the first week or two. So yeah, so my shirts will get worn out. They'll get a little bit threadbare on the side. Maybe I'll lose a button or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to wear the stuff out before it's gone, and then, you know, buy some new stuff with that. Same thing. I buy the same shoes. I wear a leather Clark slip-on shoe, and I keep the old ones for work around the house. They're an incredible shoe for being rugged, and they've got a rubber, you know, not a rubber, but a, you know, rubber plastic sole, anti-slip. But I've been out there in the garden digging with a shovel with my old pair because they're leather and they last forever. They don't have any holes in them, and they kind of got scuffed up and look kind of really yucky. So I went ahead and got some new ones. But that's how I rotate my shoes. I save the old ones until they literally fall apart, or they wear through to the bottom of the sole, or they don't have any use. So, but I'll use those for other tasks around the house. So I think personally, this is what I've learned from a lot of rich entrepreneurs, is that they are also not wasteful people. So the majority of people who are very, very wealthy are not people that waste money. They're actually very careful about in their personal lives. Now, they may spend a lot of money in their businesses and they believe that has a return, so that's why they do it. But I mean, for instance, Elon Musk. I mean, the dude is not dressing like he's got billions of dollars. And every one of you will agree with me on this. The guy's just an average dresser. He doesn't dress like he's got $1 billion. And I think it's just because he's smart. He dresses nice, but he doesn't dress like he's wasting $3,000 on a suit, or $1,000 on a pair of slacks. I mean, people who are wealthy are not stupid like that. They don't wear crazy expensive stuff, because a lot of times they have a nice look that they can wear something if they're going out to a nice place, or they're, a nice dinner or an event. Then they have, nice things. But generally speaking, very, very wealthy people have ordinary clothes that probably don't cost more than a couple $100s on their body at one time. And that's just because they're smart and they don't want to waste their money that they've earned, and worked hard for. So I think it's a good mindset to kind of incorporate, and this will help you guys on the, this will be something that'll help you guys in the long run when you're trying to build your business when you are self-employed, because if you don't waste your money, then you will be able to grow your business and be more successful in that. Like, for instance, if you go on a catastrophe, you're not spending an absolute fortune to stay in the best hotels. You're trying to do something that would just get by, that's good, it's not dirty, and it will get you the job that you need to have done and not waste a bunch of money. So DVA, hey, nice, welcome back. Do you put cougar paws on for every roof? So that's a good question. I would say not every roof. I would say anything, like if it was a 412 or a 512, I'm not going to put any boots on. If I get to a 6, that's going to be something where I'm definitely going to consider. And the reason being is that my shoes just don't have that lateral support for walking sideways. And you do a lot of walking sideways when you're inspecting a roof, meaning your foot is sideways down the slope of the roof. It's not always straight up and down. It could be sideways. So a regular pair of shoes doesn't have the lateral support that the boots do. And here's the thing. It doesn't take but 30 seconds to swap out your boots. If you have slip-on shoes and you gotta sneeze. So if you have slip-on shoes and it only takes you 30 seconds to put your boots on, it's better to be safe. You know, put them on and do the right thing. Hey, Zach, do your daily claims come from multiple firms at the moment? Yes. So that's the smartest way to work as far as when you are doing daily claims, is to find multiple firms that can give you lots of work. Now, sometimes you can find one firm like Alacrity that handles like 13 different insurance companies, and I work for 2 insurance companies from Alacrity, and at one point it was 3. So that was really helpful to in one stop, I could basically find work from 3 different firms, or three different carriers. But no, that didn't work out lately. One of those insurance companies went out of business, and so I ended up having to go to another firm, and they're providing me. They actually have 2 insurance companies for the other firm as well. So yeah, the bigger firms are going to have multiple insurance companies, and that's kind of why you want to go with the bigger firms first. And if you can't find the bigger firms, then sure, go with a small one. But hey, when you're starting out, take everything. Get every single claim that you can from anybody, because you can always say you're too busy later and say, hey, can you get somebody else to do it? I'm kind of busy this time. That's a smart way to start your business, is take everything at first and then weed it out later. So Deviate, yeah, I'm an adjuster still running Helene and Milton claims since I live in Clearwater. Oh man, you're so lucky. Yeah, in fact, I left because they couldn't give me more than 2 claims a day. That's why I left I left Orlando back in November, is that, I've got expenses. I got the hotel, I got food, all that stuff. And, I'm sitting there going, I don't know if I want to, if I was not getting, because they were starting to give me daily claims. And then I was like, this isn't going to work out because I wasn't getting a roof. I was just getting a water claim and getting a flat rate. Very small fee schedule compared to replacing the roof. And so when they could only start giving me only 2 claims, then it was time for me to go home. And they totally got it. And so then it just transfers over to the guys who live locally, and then they stay busy forever in a big event like that. So yeah, totally get it. You're a lucky guy. When a storm happens in your area, it is the best thing for a daily guy, because you literally will be working like crazy all the time for a long time. All right, so Live Always, let's see. Zach worked the best claims, but they don't have much in South Florida. Yeah, and you're struggling to also deal with the PAs. Southern Florida stuff is rough because you're always dealing with a PA, and you're always, getting delayed in those inspections. I couldn't believe, I was so mad at the PAs when I was down in Orlando, and I was telling them off. I was saying, okay, number 1, we're not waiting 3 weeks to do an inspection. Number 2, if you purposely are doing this because you're saying you're not available in all the different times that I'm giving you, then you are purposely delaying the insured from being from that house being inspected, and therefore I'll be putting a complaint against the insurance company for purposeful delay of inspection, and the insured will be dropped and there will be no claim. And I told that to a PA. I said, hey, listen, I got the power to shut you down, and that claim will no longer exist. If you want to play that game and you're throwing me 3 weeks out on inspection time, I said, if you don't have enough people and you're three weeks out, it's time for you to hire some more people. And so I told the guys that I'll give you 1 week to find me a time to get this house inspected. And if you don't have something available within a week, then I'll be putting a complaint into the insurance company. And it was amazing. The guy called me back in 2 days and said I could see it in 3 days. I was like, yeah. So don't forget that you have the power on your side for the insurance company to push these public adjusters to see your house quickly. Because it's part of the duty of the policy is that you need to be able to expect that damage before it's too long. Now, what if, here's the thing, what if they delay it and mold starts to grow for a water claim or a leak in a roof? Well, we're going to be denying that for the mold. We're going to say long-term damage. So they're at a risk for us to have it denied because they're delaying us and causing more damage to the house than originally occurred. So that's where the pressure comes and say, hey, if there's more damage, we're not covering it. You know, if this thing gets worse, there's mold, and the mitigation has to come in and take care of it, no coverage, buddy. We're not covering it. And so you push that with them, and you'll be amazed how fast those PAs will make time for you. Spent 7 months in Chicago last year on a cat and got a bit more comfortable. They can be so annoying. Oh yeah, they're crazy. Especially up north. Oh my goodness, I went to Massachusetts on a cat, and the guy was discrediting me before I even walked up to the house. Oh great, another independent adjuster. So how many years experience you got? 1? You know, he was automatically defaming me and he didn't even know who I was. And when I was talking to this guy, I said, well, it's a pleasure to meet you too. I said, maybe you're a PA that doesn't have any experience either. I said, you're probably a new blood trying to pretend that you're somebody special when you're nothing. Probably you have everybody else do all your work for you and you really don't have any experience yourself. Yeah, well, nice to meet you. Are we going to get this house inspected or are we going to talk a bunch of crap? And the guy goes, oh, so you must have a little bit of experience. I go, it doesn't matter what experience I have. The point is, I'm here to do a job. You're here to do a job. And we're here to come across and get a price that we can both work with. And I said, as long as you don't rip the people off, meaning rip the insurance company off and try and fluff your estimates, we're going to have a good time. I said, I'm going to write an honest estimate. Hopefully you will write an honest estimate and we can come across as an agreed price. But I said, if you're going to be a dick, I said, hey, I could be a dick too. I said, we'll make this really difficult on you. I'll deny every single thing that you come in with. And, I'll say, hey, the PA's being difficult, not willing to negotiate price. Find me a new PA, find me somebody else from the same office, whatever. I mean, I could make it miserable on them too. And they don't understand that, they think that we're going to cower to their idiocy and their rudeness. But no, you have to stand up for them and say, listen, I'm an independent. Okay, number one, a PA is biased, 100% biased, and they are looking out for their own interests, their own pockets, and they don't give a crap about the insured. They don't give a crap about the insurance company, and they're just trying to make as much money as they can. Okay, that's not unbiased. So you got a bias on one side, and then you've got the insurance company that says, we want you to write a fair estimate, but we're not paying you 1 penny more than you deserve. And I get it, but they're not trying to not pay. They're trying to adhere to the policy and the rules that their insured signed by agreeing to that policy. And I think that's totally fine. I say, if you didn't want to read the policy when you signed up to that insurance company, and then you're surprised later why there's no coverage for certain things, that's your own fault. So if you come into the PA and you say, listen, I'm an independent. I don't care what the insured gets. I don't care what the insurance company has to pay. But we're here to do a good job, an honest and fair job, and write an estimate that will get this person back to whole. But I'm not painting your walls 4 times just because you feel like you want to paint it 4 times. I mean, it's just like they do the stupidest stuff on their estimates or create high grade on every single item. And it's like it's particle boarding a buy at Home Depot, man. It's not high grade. I mean, come on, give me a break. So, if I go in there and it's plywood on the cabinets and, mahogany front, something like that, and I got a nice, burnt in logo that's on the back of the door that looks like it's some custom cabinet company that created these cabinets, then yeah, I'm going to put a high grade on those cabinets. And I can justify it by those photos or tongue and groove drawers or something like that. I get it. There's high grade out there. But most of his PAs don't understand that 99% of the house out there is production build, and it's not high grade. It's builder grade. So yeah, let's get it fair. Let's get done. What about sketching rooms? Are you using pen and paper, pencil? Are you using apps to measure rooms? Yeah, don't use the apps. They've notoriously been wrong. And how you can tell is use the app and then go measure the room, and you'll see it's off. They're not super accurate. And I know a lot of your remediation companies are doing that because their measurements are 95% of the time wrong. And so I just measure it with a disto, tape measure, and draw it on sketch on a piece of paper first, and then go home and put it in Xactimate. And to me, that works perfectly. I've been doing this the way I've done it forever. Some people use an iPad. Fine, more power to you. But use your disto, measure it, and get a right measurement. So that and then a disto will also transfer over into the iPad for measurements. It can Bluetooth them, so you can save some time there. But either way, you still got to put it back in Xactimate when you get back to the house to write your report and do all that stuff too. So I don't know. I mean, the iPad works. I've seen people that say it's great, but I'm like, you still got to write your report. You still got to upload it, the normal classical way. So I'm not sure that it's saving a ton of time. But here's the thing too. I like having physical copies of things. Meaning, if I go back to my file folders, somebody asked me to find a file from 5 years ago, I could find it. And I've got all my notes, and all my photos are saved on a separate drive. So I have all my documents from I can keep it for 7 years. And so I can go back to any file, look at the sketch, check my measurements. Whereas if it's all in the iPad, yeah, I guess you could download it from Exact Analysis, and it's there, but it's not saving all your notes that you're going to write down and say, okay, I'm circling here. This is where the damage was. I can just at a quick glance on my paper see everything about what happened in that house. Everything from the measurements that I took for the baseboards, how much carpet was taken out, etc. It's all on my paper. I like it. To me, it's very organized. I've been using Hover Interior and pen and pencil as a backup. Yeah, I've never used it, but yeah, people are moving more towards it. But I mean, more power to you if it works. What year did I start adjusting? 2013. I've been adjusting for going on 12 years now. Yeah, so there are lots of tools, but here's the thing, what you'll find is that once you get a system, it is really, really difficult to change from that system to do something completely different. And call it a creature of habit, but for me, it's called speed and optimization. And I love the fact that because I have had many remediation company, freak out that I'm drawing the interior of the house or sketching the roof or measuring the roof. And I tell people, and they're amazed how fast I can do it. And I tell them, I said, I've been doing this for so long. I've got a lot of your measurements memorized, like sizes of cabinets and bathrooms, are always the same size. Closets are always the same depth, 1'11". I mean, it's just so many common measurements that are in construction that you don't even have to measure a lot of these because those are all the same. Or you can look at a cabinet in a bathroom and go, yep, that's 3'4", or that's 3 foot. You just know what they are. And yeah, you'll double check it or whatever, but it's so fast. Once you have done this so many years, sketching is super, super fast. I can sketch a roof less than 5 minutes. I could probably sketch a roof and get almost all my measurements in 5 minutes. And put it on a piece of paper, take it back to the house, and draw it in another 10. So it's just, after you've done it for so long, it just keeps getting faster. You'll find that. So changing this system, like somebody saying, go do an iPad and sketch it all on the house. It's like, well, I'm out of the house in 15 minutes. Why would I want to spend another 15 minutes in there hanging around with the insured, waiting for them to ask me a whole bunch of questions, distracting me, potentially making me draw something wrong or write something down wrong, when I can just get in the house, get the photos, get my measurements, and get out of the house and get it done. And those people are like, efficient, fast, oh, I loved it, didn't take up my whole day. And they're happy because so many people are saying, wow, like, is this going to take an hour? I don't have time for you to be in my house for an hour. And so a lot of people don't want you in their house for an hour if it's going to take that long to sketch it out or write all the items that are in the house or you know, whatever. They want you gone. They want you in and out so they can get on with their day. So the faster I can do, you know, get that process done, the better. So you save your pictures and notes on a Linux server that you built. Wow, that's very cool. Very cool. Yeah, anything that you can save is awesome. I like hard copies of everything just because it's a physical thing that can never go away unless I burn the house down. So, so yeah, so that's really cool. And then obviously the photos, you can't do anything but put them on sticks or terabyte hard drives or something like that. So you can't get around that. So, well, anyways, guys, I am home. So I'm going to end this live and get started writing up this claim for the fence fire. And then I'm going to upload a video for the fence fire so you guys can check it out later. And make sure you check out my YouTube channel, Daniel the Adjuster, and check out the Discord. It's the link's in the description. The Discord is a chat group for all adjusters, and we got over 400 people now in that chat that are just chatting about adjuster stuff and just having a good time chatting about everything. So if you need somebody to chat with and want to know some questions or answers, check out the Discord. Otherwise, we'll see you guys soon. Be safe out there. And Daniel the Adjuster, here to make you the best adjuster. Take care, guys. Have a good one.